You're tuned in to Vocalo Radio, Chicago's urban alternative. I'm your host, Biko. And man, I have a brother on the line that is super, super dope, multi-talented. I mean, he produces, he's also an artist. And if you love house music, I mean, this brother is a one-of-a-kind type artist that's blending both house, R&B, and hip-hop all under one roof. I got Nez on the line with me. How you doing?
Hey, I'm coolin', man. Just chilling, man, in the studio.
So that's where you've been spending most of your time during the pandemic.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely in the studio. A little bit outside, a little bit of safe outside endeavors. But yeah, I've been in the studio mostly.
As of now, before we really get into the EP, I gotta ask you about your name, Nez. Is it like an abbreviation, an acronym? How did you know? How did you come up with your artist name?
So that's actually my real name. It's short for Nesbitt. That's my first name. So everyone just calls me Nez. So it was just kind of like a natural thing to just use my name. Everybody calls me. It wasn't like it's not like a artist name I made up or nothing like that. It's my actual name. Like everybody called me Nez. So yeah, that's how that worked out.
So that's
Yeah.
dope to hear because I was wondering. I'm like, Nez, it has to be some uniqueness to it, and to know that it's part of your that it's actually your name. It makes me
Yeah.
makes me wonder as well with the music you make. You know how some people have alter egos. They have their artist name and then they have their the personal name. But with you actually having your name attached to your artist name, does that make you create music differently at all?
Not really. I think when it comes to the creative process, I just try to be as free as possible. I really don't think about any like boundaries or like, a way. But I'll just make whatever I'm inspired by at the time. So that's kind of like why I'm making the music I'm making now, because it's just literally just where I'm at with it creatively. Like there's no like, I think me using my name is dope just because it's like I can go anywhere because it's really just an expression of whatever I'm on. So yeah, it's really that.
Now, producing, is that was that did that come first? Production for you?
Yes, I actually I was in a production, started off in a production group, Nez and Rio, both of us from Chicago, grew up together, made music, started making music together in college and started producing like, our peers in school. And that led to like moving back home and producing local acts. So I worked with like everybody from like Vic Mensa, Chance the Rapper, King Louie, a bunch of people in Chicago, Mickey Hosted, GLC. That was just like where I got my start. So in the scene in Chicago, that led to like meeting Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q when they came to Chicago, and just led to like just producing other people, A$AP Rocky, Travis, a lot of other people came from that. But yeah, I started off just grinding at the crib, man, just making beats and hustling.
I gotta ask you, like when you bumped into Schoolboy and Kendrick, how was that for you as a producer? Knowing that your production just led you to where it led you now.
That experience was crazy just because at the time Kendrick didn't have an album out. He didn't even have the Section 80 mixtape out. He was actually looking for beats to like finish off Section 80. And a friend of mine had brought him to Chicago for a show, Jay Script. And I remember we were listening to his music at the time. We were a little early on it, and we felt like, yo, we needed to kind of just work with somebody else that was like, we felt that was going up. So basically what we did was I reached out to Hustle Simmons, who's a good friend of mine. And I was just like, yo, who's bringing Kendrick to the city? And he was like, I'm gonna link you. It's my boy. So we were at a party and he was like, yo, this who bringing Kendrick. So y'all tap in. And Jay Script was cool enough to be like, yo, I'm having a studio session, so you can pull up. We pull up to the studio. It's Kendrick, it's Schoolboy, it's a lot of the TDE dudes, like on the manager side. Ali was there. He's like an engineer who's fire. And they were just all there. And it was a bunch of other producers in the room too. We all just started playing beats, and I think we went last. And Kendrick picked like 20 beats. So that's just how we met. We met actually shopping beats for Kendrick's Section 80. So then we just kind of kept in touch, kept sending beats. And then as we were leaving out the room, we looked at Schoolboy and was like, yo, we rock with you too. Like, we want to get some BCU too. He was like, yo, I'm gonna get some out that batch. And then we just kind of kept the relationship going and just kept building. And then that's what led to us being able to even move to LA. So meeting them was really dope just because it kind of gave us an eye opener to like seeing people ascend, because we kind of met them at an early stage. So to see them like ascend to like where they are now is really dope, to kind of just be a part of the process and creatively, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely a big like eye opener to like we could actually really, really do this. So yeah.
And then hearing you produce a record like Man of the Year for Schoolboy Q, which was a successful hit record, one of my favorites from Schoolboy Q. I mean, I love that record. Knowing that you was behind that record, and then before I even get into your artist side, but just hearing the new production that you do for yourself, it's like, how? Like when you produce, or what type of mentality, what type of like mentality do you go in to really bring them creative juices out to produce records like a Man of the Year, and then get into like the house music vibes?
I gotta give a lot of credit to my parents and my peers, like my friends, just because I I get the opportunity to listen to so many different genres of music. And like growing up, my parents played everything. So I heard funk, I heard gospel, I heard African music, I heard jazz, I heard rock, I heard blues, so many different styles of music in my household, that I think that just opened me up naturally to like just being able to go into different styles. And then once I started getting older, I would just be open to a lot of the indie stuff that was a lot of my friends were listening to as well. And so, I'm really open just in terms of like my, my musical palette and like just what I'm digesting. I'm just open. Like if it's whatever, if it's drill or trap or anything, if it's dope, I rock with it. So when it comes to producing and making music for myself, I feel like I can go into different lanes, and it's fun for me because I also kind of get bored fast too. So I like to jump in different bags and just like try different styles of music, because I'm into all of it. I love all of it like equally. So it's not like, it doesn't feel like it's a task. It's more of like a journey type. You know what I mean?
When did you first, get your dose of house music? Like when did you fall in love with it? Because hearing it in your production and on your EP you recently dropped, man, I'm in love with it. So when did you first get hip to house music?
So what's crazy? Like, growing up in Chicago, you're gonna hear it on the radio. Like some of my uncles were house DJs, and you're gonna hear it at every family function, every picnic, every gathering. You're gonna hear Move Your Body and Cashmere, you know what I mean? You're gonna hear all those hits all the time. So I had no choice but to listen to it. But when I was young, I actually didn't really like the older style of house music, because it just was like you hear so much and you just feel like, oh, that's for the old heads. And we grew up on like ghetto house music, which was, way more like raunchier and faster and louder. You know what I mean? I grew up in the era of going to like the rink, you know what I mean? Like just juking, footwork culture, you know what I mean? So for me, I didn't really gain I'd say like once I got older, I started to really appreciate the style of music, because I was able to like, I was just more open. I can understand like what they were doing. And then seeing like where electronic dance music went when I started going to the festivals, I was like, oh man, like they really just biting the stuff that I grew up on. You know what I mean? And they like taking a style and running with it. So that's kind of what led me to kind of even wanting to make that style of music and bring it into a new way for myself, because it was music that I always knew and it was in my DNA. But I felt like there's a opening of the stuff that I was producing for other people. But then there was a style I felt like I could get on that just felt natural for myself. And I kind of stumbled upon the style with the Wild Youngster record. And I just sat on it and I kept honing in on that sound. And that's just something I felt like could separate me from everything else that I was producing and everybody else that's like, I feel like is making music right now, you know.
Speaking on Wild Youngster, that record tough, by the way.
Thank you.
You released
Thank you.
that was like your first single as an artist that you released last year.
Yes.
In January, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And was it hard for you to come out, that producer shell and start your journey as an artist?
I wouldn't say it was rough because everything happened so organically. So that record, I made that record in like 2017. And we were finishing up Schoolboy Q's the Crash Talk album. Those sessions. And I just wanted to get Q's opinion. I had already recorded the vocals and made the record. And I just wanted to get his opinion on what he thought. Like, I didn't even think that he was gonna want to hop on it or anything. I was just literally just playing it for him, like, yo, what you think? This is my first time playing my artist stuff. I respect you as an artist. What do you think? I played him that record and he literally stopped and was like, play it again. And then he was like, I'm about to hop on this right now. And I was like,
his opinion.
oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. I was gassed up. So yeah, after that, I just sat on the record because there's a lot of like things I had to get, together on the business side, and then just the timing and everything had to be right. So I sat on that record for 3 years before I put it out, and I wanted to get more in the sound as well, and yeah, it just came together really organically. And the plan for me was always to be an artist, but I had trouble finding a sound. For so many years, I was trying to find my own sound, something that I felt like was just like I was saying earlier, it was different than what I was giving people, but also something I could really hone in and call my own, and I felt like could separate me. So
You found your sound. you
thank
found
you.
your sound. Like, I don't hear no one in this lane that you're in. And I feel like that's very niche for you specifically because it's needed, man. Like, the music that you produce and the music our audience is about to hear, like, it's a vibe. It's a really good vibe. And then for you to get Schoolboy Q on your first ever single, it ain't make you big headed now, did it?
Nah, I didn't. It really didn't, because it was the homie. Like, it's actually like the perfect story, because like Q is also my friend too. So it's like it was just like the perfect setup for somebody that, I came into this game with, and to help break him sonically as an artist, from a producer standpoint, and then for him to turn around and help break me as an artist. It was just like the perfect setup. I wouldn't have it any other way.
You release your new EP, Midnight Music. It has 3 tracks on there, and right now you have a lead single featuring Flo Milli, and it's called To the Money.
Yes.
First and foremost, Chicago meets Alabama, man. How was it like meeting Flo Milli and getting her on this lead single with you?
Man, I was so excited that she was even open to getting on this kind of style. And she's one of the nicest people I've ever met. Like, I didn't going into this, you just never know how someone's gonna be, and like, you just don't know. So to meet her, and she was super cool, and she killed the verse, and I just love her energy, and I like her style so much. Like, she's definitely one of my favorite new artists in the game right now. And Bay as well, who's also on the record. She's up and coming. She's fire. She wrote the hook. She's incredible. Like, it was just dope to have like Black women on the record with me. Like, it's just something that about that energy that just makes the record so fire to me. Like,
Bay. So I'm happy you said her name before I got
yeah, yeah. Because everybody thinks it's like it's spelled 8AE. So yeah, people be like, what? But yeah, it's just like her creative way of spelling
I
it. But
thought it
it's
was
Bay.
8. I thought it was 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Nah, I can't blame
sorry,
her.
babe. Look, if you watch it, you listen. Sorry, babe. I'm happy you said it before I got to it.
Yeah. No, she's fire, bro. Like, that was literally the first song we made. First time meeting her, Bay's the one that kicked it off. So like, I was sitting there working on the beat, and we were just kind of mumbling. And she came up with that hook, and she was just mumbling, and then she started like getting the words, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. And that was literally my first time meeting her. Like first session ever. We made that record. So
for you two to come together and instantly vibe like that in the studio, oh yeah, I know we about to get some
yeah.
work out of y'all. Now, you released a video to the money. Now, a fun fact, you released your first video, Wild Youngster, last year, January. It reached, it's closing in on 1 million views. Well, and now you released your newest video with Flo Milli. A month, it ain't even been a month yet, and you're touching 1 million views already. You see how a year can just change things?
No, that's true.
How you feel about your growth as an artist / producer, multi-talent?
Man, I don't know, man. I'm just I feel blessed, man. I'm very appreciative. I'm so appreciative because it's just like, man, I've dreamed of just being in this business. I've dreamed, for so long. All I wanted to do is just make music for a living. You know what I mean? And it's just like to finally be in this space, I'm trying to take full advantage of it. And I just want to make sure that I'm taking every opportunity that helps progress this thing and take it as far as it can go. So I'm just so appreciative, and I don't take anything lightly. I just like try to keep my head down, stay working, stay on it. You know what I mean? Just because I just want to make a big imprint on the culture. We all want hits and we all want to be at the top and everything like that, but it's very important that I do it in a certain way. I want to affect the culture positively.
You definitely gonna impact the world, and you're gonna have a lot of people dancing, man. You had me dancing.
Thank you,
I'm
brother. I
stiff.
appreciate that.
I'm stiff. So. But I will also like to know about Midnight Music, the title.
Well, I felt like Midnight Music is the tone. It just felt like the tone of the sonics of where I'm going. Like I feel like there's a certain time when you're in this spot that you just want to hear a certain groove, or you just, it's the energy, it's the vibes of the party and everything. It feels like midnight music. Midnight music is also like it plays in like to the colors and to also the style and the kind of parties that I throw and I have, that just is like a certain vibe where there's so many different kinds of people in there, but they're all under one accord in terms of just trying to have a good time. To me, midnight music pinpoints that.
I can hear your music in movies like Matrix 4, if they ever make that. I can hear it in Blade 3 if they ever make that. Look, Fast and Furious Infinity, because they gonna keep it.
That's a fact.
Like the vibe it give, and these are major hit movies as well. So definitely see your music hitting the big screen soon, man. Definitely let people know how they can get in tune and get your music as well.
Man, definitely. Midnight Music is my most recent EP. It's available on all streaming platforms. My name is Nez. It's spelled Nez. You can find it everywhere. My social media handles is Nez So Ridiculous on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of that. I'm out here straight from Chicago, man.
Keep up the amazing work. I love what you're doing, and again, appreciate you. This your boy Biko signing out with Vocalo.
Pleasure, brother.